From ancient Iberian tribes to Roman gladiators, from the rise of Al-Andalus to Christian kingdoms, Spain's history is a story of power, culture, conflict, and transformation. How did Spain go from a land of warring kingdoms to ruling half the world? How did it rise to unmatched global power, then lose its entire empire and still emerge as a modern European nation? Welcome to History. Unlock. And today, we unlock the complete history of Spain, a journey across 3,000 years that shaped Europe, the Americas, and the modern world. The history of Spain begins long before kingdoms, empires, or written records. The Iberian Peninsula was home to early humans for hundreds of years, including Neanderthals. These prehistoric communities lived in caves, hunted animals, and created remarkable art, the most famous being the Cave of Altamira, often called the Sistine Chapel of prehistoric art, painted over 35,000 years ago. By around 3000 to 2000 BCE, advanced farming communities began to form building stone monuments, developing pottery, and establishing small settlements. These early Iberians traded with Mediterranean cultures and laid the foundation for Spain's earliest identity. Though little is known about their languages or customs, their legacy marks the very beginning of the long, complex story of Spain. Iberians, Celts, and early Mediterranean influences, 1000 to 500 BCE. Between 1000 and 500 BCE, the Iberian Peninsula became a crossroads of cultures. On the eastern and southern coasts lived the Iberians, skilled metalworkers and traders, who developed early writing systems and built fortified towns. In the north and northwest settled the Celts, a warrior people with strong traditions in metalcraft rituals and hilltop settlements. Around the same time, outside influences arrived. Phoenician traders from the eastern Mediterranean founded cities like Gadir, modern Cadiz, one of Europe's oldest continuously inhabited cities. Later, Greeks established colonies such as Emporion, bringing art, pottery, and new technologies. These interactions sparked cultural blending. Iberian art, weapons, and trade networks expanded, laying the groundwork for more complex societies. This era transformed Iberia from a land of isolated tribes into a vibrant, multicultural region, ready for the rise of great powers. Carthaginians and the road to Roman conquest, 500 to 200 BCE. As Mediterranean trade intensified, Carthage, a powerful North African empire, expanded into southern Spain. They took control of former Phoenician settlements and built new strategic cities, including Carthago Nova, modern Cartagena. The region became vital for Carthage because of its rich silver mines, which financed armies and naval fleets. Carthaginian generals, especially the famous Hamilcar Barca, and later his son Hannibal, strengthened their power in Iberia. Hannibal's bold attack on Rome, starting with his legendary march across the Alps, triggered the Second Punic War, one of the ancient world's most dramatic conflicts. Rome responded fiercely. Between 218 and 201 BCE, Roman legions invaded Spain, defeating Carthaginian forces city by city. The fall of Carthage's influence marked a turning point that opened the door for full Roman occupation. Spain was on the brink of massive change. Roman rule was about to reshape its culture, language, religion, and identity forever. Roman Hispania conquest. Cities and culture, 200 BCE, 400 CE. After defeating Carthage, Rome gradually conquered the Iberian Peninsula, a process that took nearly 2 centuries. Resistance was fierce. Tribes like the Lusitanians, led by the legendary Viriathus, and the defenders of Numantia fought bravely against Roman legions. By 19 BCE, under Emperor Augustus, Spain was fully integrated as Hispania divided into provinces such as Tarraconensis, Baetica, and Lusitania. The Romans built roads, aqueducts, amphitheaters, and cities like Tarraco Merida and Toledo, many of which remain inhabited today. Latin became the dominant language, giving birth to the roots of modern Spanish. Christianity began to spread during the 3rd century, and Roman law influenced governance for centuries to come. Hispania produced notable figures, including emperors like Trajan and Hadrian, showing its significance within the Roman Empire. Roman Hispania transformed the peninsula from tribal lands into a wealthy, organized, and culturally vibrant region, a foundate. The Visigothic Kingdom. Fall of Rome and New Spain, 400 to 711 CE. With the decline of the Western Roman Empire, the Visigoths, a Germanic tribe, moved into Iberia. By the early 5th century, they established a kingdom centered in Toledo, blending their Germanic traditions with the remnants of Roman governance. The Visigoths maintained Roman law-built churches and strengthened Christianity, unifying much of the peninsula under one rule for the first time. However, internal divisions and noble rivalries weakened their control. Despite creating legal codes such as the Liber Judiciorum, political instability grew. Their kingdom was prosperous but vulnerable, and in 711 CE, a decisive invasion from North Africa would change everything. Arab forces crossed the Strait of Gibraltar, defeating the Visigoths at the Battle of Guadalete. This marked the end of Visigothic Spain and the beginning of a new era under Al-Andalus, where Islamic culture would dominate the peninsula for centuries. The rise of Al-Andalus, 711 to 1000 CE. After the Arabs' conquest of Iberia in 711 CE, the region became known as Al-Andalus. Under Umayyad and later independent rule, southern Spain transformed into a cultural, scientific, and economic powerhouse. Cities like Córdoba became centers of learning, boasting libraries with hundreds of thousands of manuscripts, advanced medical knowledge, astronomy, philosophy, and architecture. Islamic scholars, along with Jews and Christians, contributed to a flourishing society. Innovations in agriculture, irrigation, and trade reshaped the economy, while landmarks like the Great Mosque of Córdoba showcased architectural brilliance. Al-Andalus represented one of the most advanced civilizations in medieval Europe, influencing the continent for centuries. The Christian kingdoms and the Reconquista, 1000 to 1469 CE. While the south thrived under Arabs' rule, small Christian kingdoms in the north, Castile, Aragon, Navarre, and Leon, began reclaiming territory in the Reconquista. Leaders like El Cid became legendary for defending Christian lands. Over centuries, these kingdoms gradually expanded south, establishing castles, cathedrals, and a feudal system. This era created the foundation of Spanish identity, blending military, religious, and political elements. By the late 15th century, Christian forces controlled most of the peninsula, with Granada remaining the last Arab stronghold. The Reconquista was a long struggle that defined Spain's medieval social, religious, and political landscape. The marriage of Ferdinand II of Aragon and Isabella I of Castile united Spain's two largest kingdoms, showcasing their powerful alliance at a pivotal moment in history. Their reign saw the completion of the Reconquista, with the capture of Granada in 1492, signaling the end of centuries of Arab rule in Iberia. Their rule not only strengthened royal authority, but also established the Spanish Inquisition, enforcing religious unity that would define Spain for generations. They further propelled Spain into the global arena by sponsoring Christopher Columbus's voyage to the Americas, which transformed the nation into a burgeoning empire. Ferdinand and Isabella laid the foundation for modern Spain, combining political unification, religious centralization, and overseas expansion into a formidable force in Europe. Their legacy set the stage for centuries of empire building, influencing not just Spain, but the entire world. The vision of Ferdinand and Isabella not only unified Spain, but also instilled a sense of national pride and identity among its people. Their reign marked a transformative era where Spain emerged as a dominant power, ready to take its place on the world stage. Spain emerged as a dominant global power, controlling vast territories in the Americas, Asia, and Africa. Conquistadors like Hernán Cortés and Francisco Pizarro overthrew the Aztec and Inca empires. Silver and gold from the New World flooded Spain, funding its armies, palaces, and cultural projects. Cities like Seville became international trade hubs. Spain also spread Catholicism to its colonies, influencing religion, language, and culture worldwide. This period marked the height of Spanish influence, where the empire's wealth fueled both glory and challenges. Including inflation and the costs of defending a vast global dominion. As Spain navigated its challenges, the legacies of exploration continued to shape the world. The age of exploration transformed not only Spain, but also the cultures and landscapes across the globe. The Spanish Empire's journeys paved the way for future exploration and ignited a thirst for discovery that resonated throughout history. As explorers set out toward the horizon, they carried with them the hopes of an empire eager to expand its dominion. Under the reign of Charles V and Philip II, Spain ascended to unparalleled heights, defending Catholic Europe and commanding vast territories. The formidable Spanish Armada, designed to exemplify naval strength, set forth from its ports, but its eventual defeat in 1588 marked the dawn of military decline. Amidst this backdrop, the Spanish Golden Age thrived, birthing literary masterpieces from Miguel de Cervantes, breathtaking canvases from Diego Velázquez, and remarkable advancements in music and architecture. Yet, as cultural brilliance illuminated the era, the shadows of prolonged warfare, economic burdens, and political overreach began to erode Spain's once mighty empire. As the streets of Madrid buzzed with life, the Spanish Golden Age became a melting pot of artistic expression, where vibrant dialogue and creativity flourished among its citizens. In a modest room, Miguel de Cervantes sat diligently at his desk, breathing life into characters like Don Quixote, whose adventures would resonate through the ages, becoming emblematic of the era's rich literary legacy. The 17th century marked a turbulent period for Spain as economic hardships, internal revolts, and diminished influence on the world stage took their toll. Despite these challenges, Spain's cultural scene thrived, producing remarkable works of art and literature that reflected the country's rich heritage. As the century progressed, the political landscape began to shift with the Bourbon reforms, attempting to centralize governance and adapt to changing times. Amidst the conflict and decline, Spain's architectural and artistic legacies continued to flourish, leaving an enduring mark on European culture. The decline of the Spanish Empire during the 17th century was not solely marked by loss. It also witnessed a cultural renaissance that celebrated Spain's rich history and artistic prowess. The influx of wealth from the New World initially seemed promising, yet it ultimately led to inflation and economic challenges that affected the lives of everyday Spaniards. As Spain navigated through its challenges, its rich cultural landscape stood in stark contrast to the political and economic struggles that defined the 17th century. The War of Spanish Succession marked the rise of the Bourbon dynasty, leading to significant changes under leaders like King Philip V, who implemented reforms that aimed to modernize administration and taxation. The impact of these reforms was felt across the empire as Spain began to restructure its colonial governance and invest in trade and infrastructure. As Enlightenment ideas permeated society, they sparked discussions on education and governance among intellectuals, shaping a new political landscape. The investments in infrastructure not only connected cities, but also revitalized Spain's economy, heralding a new era as the nation aimed to retain its significance in Europe. The Bourbon reforms extended Spain's influence through improved trade routes and governance over its colonies, as depicted on maps, showcasing its vast territorial claims. In cities across Spain, markets thrived, reflecting the economic revival that these reforms encouraged, helping to maintain Spain's status as a formidable European power. In 1808, Napoleon Bonaparte invaded Spain, placing his brother Joseph on the throne, sparking a fierce conflict known as the Peninsular War, where guerrilla fighters, peasants, and regular armies united in resistance against French rule. This war, although devastating for Spain, ignited a powerful sense of national identity among its people, leading to fierce resistance as British support under the Duke of Wellington played a crucial role in the fight against French domination. By 1814, French forces were expelled from Spain, but the conflict left the nation politically fragile and economically weakened, setting the stage for simmering social unrest and colonial revolts across Latin America. The Peninsular War not only reshaped Spain, but also ignited revolutionary sentiments across Latin America as people sought to break free from colonial rule, inspired by the fight for independence in their homeland. As the struggle for independence gained momentum, figures such as Simón Bolívar emerged, representing the collective resolve to overthrow colonial rule, drawing strength from the turmoil that had engulfed Spain. During a tumultuous period between 1810 and 1825, Spain faced internal struggles while its colonies in Latin America began to declare their independence. Leaders like Simón Bolívar and José de San Martín emerged, liberating vast territories across regions such as Mexico, Venezuela, Colombia, Argentina, and Peru. By the mid-1820s, almost all of Spain's American colonies had achieved independence, marking the end of centuries of colonial rule and forcing Spain to reassess its identity as a European nation rather than a global empire. The loss of these territories led to significant political instability and economic difficulties within Spain, igniting heated debates over modernization and governance as the nation struggled to adapt to its new reality. This period of transition deeply affected Spain's society, as communities grappled with the ramifications of lost territories, prompting widespread calls for change and a push toward modernization. The 19th century was marked by political instability, civil wars, and social unrest. The Carlist Wars reflected conflict over succession and conservative versus liberal visions for Spain. Meanwhile, the Industrial Revolution reached the nation unevenly, with Catalonia and the Basque region industrializing rapidly while rural areas lagged. Intellectuals and reformers pushed for modernization, education, and economic growth. Despite ongoing crises, Spain slowly began adapting to the modern era, balancing tradition with the pressures of political, social, and technological change. As battles raged across the country, communities were torn apart by differing ideologies, each side fighting for their vision of Spain's future. The clash of tradition and progress became increasingly evident, especially in industrialized regions, where factories rose from the ashes of old ways, bringing both opportunity and strife. Amidst the turmoil, voices advocating for change emerged, calling for more education and rights for the working class, paving the way for a modern Spain. Spain's final blow as a global empire came with the Spanish-American War, where it lost Cuba, Puerto Rico, Guam, and the Philippines to the United States, marking the definitive end of its overseas holdings. This loss forced Spain to turn inward, focusing on national development, modernization, and political reform as it began the long process of redefining its identity as a modern European nation-state. While the empire had vanished, Spain began the long process of redefining its identity as a modern European nation-state, embracing change and looking towards the future. Through education and dialogue, Spain sought to inspire its citizens, laying the groundwork for a renewed national identity and a commitment to progress. With determination and resilience, the people of Spain rallied around their evolving identity, embracing both their rich history and the promise of a progressive future. As creativity flourished and communities thrived, Spain began to emerge from the shadows of its past, fostering a vibrant culture and economy that spoke to a brighter future. King Alfonso XIII abdicated in 1931, establishing the Second Spanish Republic. The new government implemented reforms in education, land distribution, and secular policies, but social, political, and regional divisions created instability. Conservatives, liberals, anarchists, and socialists clashed, leading to escalating tensions and violence. The failure of the Republic to unify the nation paved the way for a dramatic and tragic conflict, the Spanish Civil War. As the Second Spanish Republic struggled to maintain order, societal unrest boiled over into violence. The country found itself fractured, with different factions vying for power amid growing mistrust. As soldiers prepared for battle, the nation could only brace itself for the turmoil that lay ahead. Caught in the storm of conflict, innocent lives were forever altered as families sought safety in an increasingly dangerous environment. Amidst the chaos, communities banded together, and women played pivotal roles in supporting those affected by the strife, showing immense resilience in the face of adversity. The Spanish Civil War saw a fierce clash between the Republicans and nationalists, led by General Francisco Franco, resulting in widespread destruction and a significant loss of life. As cities were bombed and communities shattered, foreign powers intervened, with Nazi Germany and Fascist Italy supporting the nationalists, while the Soviet Union provided aid to the Republicans. The brutality of the conflict lasted until Franco's victory in 1939, leading to the establishment of a long authoritarian regime that would silence dissent and isolate Spain from global affairs during World War II. The scars of the Spanish Civil War ran deep, leaving a nation to mourn its losses and a dictator to reign, as Franco's rule marked an era of repression and isolation. In the years that followed, the echoes of conflict were replaced by silence, as Franco's regime instilled fear and controlled every aspect of life, shaping a generation under its oppressive rule. Under Francisco Franco, Spain became a military dictatorship for 36 years, where political opposition was suppressed and regional identities were restricted. After World War II, Spain remained internationally isolated, yet by the 1960s, economic growth and tourism began to improve living standards. Franco prepared for a posthumous monarchy by naming Prince Juan Carlos as his successor, while Spain's infrastructure and economy slowly modernized amidst authoritarian rule. Despite authoritarian rule, these developments set the stage for democracy, as Spain's international presence and modernized infrastructure laid the groundwork for future progress. As the shadows of Franco's dictatorship began to fade, the yearning for democracy grew stronger among the populace, igniting a movement that would change the course of history. The people's desire for change culminated in a profound transformation, leading Spain toward a new era defined by democratic values and freedoms. After the death of Francisco Franco in 1975, King Juan Carlos III took the helm of Spain, steering the country toward a democratic future. The introduction of the 1978 Constitution marked a pivotal moment, establishing a parliamentary monarchy and granting autonomy to regions such as Catalonia and the Basque Country. By joining the European Union in 1986, Spain welcomed modernization and emerged as a vibrant hub for tourism, sports culture, and business. Despite facing challenges like economic downturns and regional independence movements today, Spain stands as a stable democratic nation, its history echoing the journey from prehistoric Iberians to a modern European powerhouse, showcasing centuries of conquest culture, innovation, struggle, and resilience. In the heart of Spain, cities like Barcelona come alive with colorful festivals where traditional music and dance celebrate the nation's diverse cultural heritage. Iconic landmarks such as the Sagrada Familia stand tall, reflecting Spain's architectural brilliance and the artistic innovation that has flourished since the democratic transition. Spain's story is a journey of empires, explorers, kings, and revolutions, a civilization that shaped the world. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the complete history of Spain, make sure to like the video, share it with others, and subscribe to History Unlock for more powerful history transformations. Your support helps us unlock the past, one nation at a time. See you in the next journey.